outside the door and wait for me. If I let her in here, she'd be jumping all over me. Okay, using the segments of chords theorem that says if you multiply the two parts of the chord, they'll be equal to each other. So take one chord, multiply its two segments, 4 times 14, and the other chord, 8 times x. And so x is 7. And that's number 16. Number 17. Okay, we're using the segments of tangents and secants theorem, which says the tangent squared, 12 squared, is equal to the outside segment of the secant times the whole segment of the secant, which is 9 plus x. Be careful not to make that 9 times x. It says the whole thing, which is an addition thing. Okay, 144 is equal to 81 plus x. So, oops, not 81 plus x. 81 plus 9x. Okay, 144 minus 81 is 63. 9 times 7 is 63, so x is 7. $18. $20 and 32, x and 28. Okay, we're using the segments of secants theorem, which says the outside piece times the whole thing is equal to the outside piece times the whole thing. Sorry about that. I had to correct an error, and I didn't feel like you needed to go on this with me. I forgot to add 20 and 32. So if you get a weird answer, you might want to go back and check that. Just didn't add them. 20 and 32, because they're such big numbers, I just wasn't thinking. Okay, 20 times 52 equals 1040. And I can tell you right now, the easy way to solve this problem will be to use the quadratic formula. So I'm going to remind you of how to use that. X squared plus 28x, we see that it's a quadratic. Move your 1040 over so you can get minus 1040 equals 0. Now remember that your a is equal to the coefficient of x squared, which is 1. Your b is equal to the coefficient of x, that's 28. And c is equal to the constant right here, that's negative 1040. Now don't worry, because when you do this, you'll have your calculator, okay? Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. That's the quadratic formula. You should have that memorized. So we're just going to plug in these numbers. Negative 28 plus or minus 28 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 1040. And all of that has to be over 2 times 1. Now we're just going to do this very systematically. Let's start with, we're going to leave our negative 28 here, plus or minus the square root of, all right, punch into your calculator, 28 squared minus 4 times 1040, and you need to make it negative. It depends on what kind of calculator you have as to which you do first. So you get 4,944 over 2. Now you're going to take the square root of 4,944. Square root is 70.3. So your answer is negative 28 plus or minus 70.3 over 2. So first you're going to add 70.3 to negative 28. So put plus negative 28, which gives you 42.3, and that's positive. And you're going to divide that by 2. Divide by 2 equals 21.2. Right, then you're going to subtract it, which isn't going to work because you're going to get a negative number. When you take negative 28 and subtract 70 from it, you're going to have a negative number, so we really don't even need to do it. Your answer is 21.2. Okay, so number 19 is necessary to be done. It says find the center and radius of a circle that has the standard equation x squared, oops, not x squared, sorry, don't want to do that, x plus 2 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals 169. So you remember that this is your center, but it's going to be opposite. Because it's positive here, in your point it's going to be negative 2. And because this is negative, on your point for the center it's going to be positive. So the center is negative 2, 5. And then you realize this is the radius squared. So radius squared equals 169. Take the square root of both sides and you get your radius is 13. So these are your two answers.